Hi, everyone. I'm Jess from the Organized Barn, and I am so excited that you are here with me today. Today, I'm going to show you my very first client, my very first barn makeover. This particular one is a tack room makeover. It is a relatively small tack room, 12 and a half by 6.5 feet. I have 10 photos. Actually, I take that back. I have 12 photos to show you, and I'm going to show you them in a quick slideshow format. Then I'm going to come back and show them a little bit slower and talk you through the key things about this project and why we did what we did, and a little bit about how we did it, and then how you can work with me if you like what you see. All right, so hang in there. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to make sure to share the sound as well as me. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. Okay, so all right, now that you've seen these photos in a quick slideshow view of the before, during, and after, I want to talk you through a little bit about each photo. So this is our first before photo. I'm standing in the barn aisle looking into the tack room. And again, if you weren't with us at the very beginning, hi, I'm Jess. I am with the Organized Barn. The Organized Barn is me. It is my company. And this is the video of my very first makeover. This is a tack room makeover of a 12 and a half by 6.5 foot tack room. So in this photo, starting from the top bottom, or from the top down, you can see that there's some mold on the ceiling in the back wall. There was a ceiling leak. So we brought a contractor in to remediate that, along with to do a couple other things that you'll see in the photos. Also, another key point here, the wire shelving on the left is actually sitting in front of a door. So this room has a double closet door. You can kind of see it on the second shelf down, the little slats in the back that look like blinds. That is an accordion style closet or pantry style door that actually has an office on the other side, but these shelves are blocking the door, so the door wasn't being used. However, I guess what the door was being used for was heat. So there's no heat in this room, but there is heat in the office. And so it kept the tack, it kept the tack room just a little bit, just warm enough. Another thing that we had to think about too was the saddle racks in the back. The ones on the top are just too tall for this person to reach comfortably, even when using a step stool. We also wanted to address the floor, which at the time was stall mats over gravel. And then, of course, in general, there is just like the clutter issue. So we'll get to that. As you step into the tack room and turn to your left, these are the shelves that she was keeping all of her grooming and bathing and clipping and braiding and first aid and paperwork and helmets and everything you could think of. It was all here, and she had everything, and she had a shelving system, but she was having a hard time finding things, and she felt like it was cluttered and overwhelming. This is another view as you're coming in and you're closing the door behind you. She also had storage on the back of the door, as well as if you see in this picture, the black horseshoe hooks on the top of the page, that halter and leader rope would hit you in the head as you came in. And that was her previous solution for hanging blankets that needed to dry as well. Then as we continue in, you can see a little closer look up here at the shelves. So you can kind of see the door behind that was blocked and also not really useful except for letting a little bit of heat in through the cracks. And then this was her blanket storage that she had. So tubs are great. but the blankets were not sorted according to horse or size or weight or anything useful. And the tubs were not clear so you couldn't see what was in them, and they weren't labeled. And so you couldn't even read what was in them either. So that was an issue. And then here is just another view. You can kind of see the remainder of the tack room. The wall on the right actually was not bad. It was just a sort of a catch-all situation happening. Okay, so the first thing that we did was empty everything out. And we did a declutter day. So I will like a few high level quick tips that I have. I like to get tarps or blankets and put them out and have categories for things you're going to get rid of and things that you're going to keep. All right. And then within that, there's some simple categories, ways to get rid of stuff, things that you know are trash or recycle can go easily. Then there's the things that you are going to get rid of. And it depends on your personality. If you have an easy time making decisions between what you're going to sell and donate, you can separate those out at that time. But if that is hard for you, I don't recommend doing it. Just make a get rid of pile. You can go back through it later and decide what you're going to sell and what you're going to donate. Another thing, if you are separating out the sell items from the donate items, everybody has dirty tack that they want to sell. And they're like, oh, I need to clean it before I sell it. Just if you have to, split the tarp. Half is tack you need to clean before you sell it. Half is stuff you don't need to clean before you sell it. But again, I would leave that until later. And side note, I actually offer a service if you are local, where I take the tack, I will clean it for you and deliver it to our local consignment store, and then they will sell it. They'll give you a call to confirm the prices, and you can help fund your tack room makeover that way. Okay, back to this. So first thing we did was declutter everything. And once we decided what was going to stay, we packed up what was going to stay and we put it in her garage for safekeeping because we were having a contractor come and do the work in this room. So we actually pulled out one tack box and two 5-gallon buckets worth of stuff that she was going to use daily while the contractor was doing the work. Everything else got packed in her garage, which is just less accessible, not inaccessible, but less accessible. So we picked a small number of items that she could easily keep in some containers in her barn aisle. In the meantime, then we had a meeting with the contractor. So the contractor came in, and the contractor, we had a design and a plan for what we wanted, but the contractor was the one that, did all the measurements and made sure that our plan was doable, etc. So number one, they were fixing the leak in the roof, remediating the mold and moisture issue. On that note, they also added a heater into this room so that we could close off that door and gain back wall space. We also painted the entire room white. And so in a small room like this, if you want, having one consistent color will make it look larger if that is a light color. So we went light and bright, painted the whole thing white. However, we did keep the saddle racks and the bridle racks in the natural wood color, which is already light and a beautiful contrast to the white. We also had the contractor remove the rubber mats and gravel and put in a real floor that was faux hardwood, a light color, beautiful, and went with the light theme of the room. And we also ordered a new door that had a window in the top to let more natural light in, and added a frosted glass with a horse etching in it, which is really pretty. So it would let in the light, but also not have the client have to feel like everyone in the barn is looking through the window and seeing her mess, if you will. Okay. So then here we have the shelves in the front. So here the long shelves, the wall on the right with the long shelves, we decided to keep that and install a cubby system for organization, and then remove the short shelves on the shorter wall here. And we actually reclaimed that as wall space. And the heater was installed underneath the light switch there, which you'll see when I go to the next views, that having the heater in that location meant that the heat was not going to blow on the saddles or bridles or anything leather. So it would heat the room, but not be blowing directly on anything leather, which is important. Then here is the beautiful new door to her tack room, you guys. And Ta-da! Now you're in the tack room. You can see the beautiful new door, the floors, the paint, the white and light contrast. You can see the heater that was installed in the lower right next to the door. You can also see that red bucket there. It was something that we decided to have an emergency first aid bucket. It has everything you need to take vitals and address small wounds, and she could just grab it. The rest of her first aid supplies are stashed away in a cubby specifically for first aid. And then here you can see the cubby system that we put together. We also, you can kind of see a little into the corner here. We also put a little lunging corner in there where she could easily grab everything she needed for lunging. Each cubby has a theme or a topic. So whether it's grooming or bathing or first aid, etc. So if you remember back to the shelves where she had all of this stuff, number one, we decluttered. And number two, now if she goes to look for something, she knows what cubby to look in so she can easily find it. But it's also not very difficult for her to put things away because she has containers that she can just dump things into, like all the first aid in this bin on the shelf. Now she knows where to look for it when she goes to look for it. One other thing, the angle of this photo, those black horseshoe hooks, it looks like they're hanging lower than they are. They're actually above the door. So you'd have to be taller than the door for them to hit you in the head. We have a new blanket hanging situation, which I'm about to show you in the next photo. We just thought these were pretty and she wanted to keep them. So we hung the horseshoes back up. But before I move on, I just wanted to point out that the saddles here on the left, we moved the saddles to the reclaimed wall space that we had on the left, and we still have space for 9 saddles. She has room for 8 horses here, so that was a good amount. And she's able to access all of them comfortably and is not reaching way up over her head or climbing on a ladder to get to her saddles. And then in this view, you can see also, first of all, she has access to that trunk. If you go back and look at the photo and where we had all the shelves, this trunk was like underneath the shelf and stuff was piled on top of it. So she has access to the trunk now, and you can't really see it. It's a little shadowy, but there is a vacuum in the back corner that we stashed there. So she can easily keep these floors clean. But what I really want to point out in this new view is those blanket racks. So they are so cool because if you've ever been to a record or a poster store and you can like fan through, these blanket racks actually act just like that. And so what we did was we took the blankets that she's commonly using for the season. So right now, it's spring in the Pacific Northwest. So we took simply her rain sheets and coolers, and then her back on track, which is like a therapeutic blanket that you might use to, when you're warming up or doing massage or something. And then also her fly sheets. Those are the ones that we pulled out. We folded them and we stored them on the bars on the back racks, and we left the front 2 open so that if she has something she wants to dry, she can hang them to dry on the front. And the way you would hang them to dry is actually with the chest piece buckled closed and draped over the top. And so the chest piece is on the top, tail down. So it's this is hung high enough where the blankets can hang vertically to dry, and you can fan them out so they're not touching each other, etc. And again, it was away from the heater, but also not touching any of the leather. And then the hooks on the right-hand side, we just hung up an organized version of what was left after decluttering. We sorted things into English and Western tack, as well as halters and lead ropes. So that is a great overview of this gorgeous tack room makeover. It was my very first and one of my very favorites. I absolutely loved doing this tack room. So here, let me actually go back and come back to you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Let's see here. We're going to stop the share. Come back to me. Hi, I'm Jess with the Organized Barn. I am in my office. And I just walked you through my very first project, which was a 12.5 by 6.5 foot tack room. Makeover. And if you liked what you see, I would love to come out and work with you. I want to tell you a little bit more about how you can do that. And also just to give you an idea, if you're thinking about like, what does working with a professional organizer even look like? So, first of all, I come out and do a free consult. If you're within about 2 hours of where I live within Mukilteo, Washington, I drive to you and I spend an hour on site with you and we walk through your space and I ask you questions and we talk about what you love about your space, what you hate about your space, your dreams for the space. We take some basic measurements and photos, and then I can give you a quote for your project depending on what you would like to do. And then if you want to move forward from there, we go forward with the project. With this project in particular, that included coming and doing a decluttering day. It also included an on-site meeting with the contractor, and then it included 2 organizing days after the contractor had completed their work to come and put everything back. And then we had the second day was like the finishing touches where we were making any small changes after she had used it a little bit. We were doing final labeling and just all of the finishing touches to make it perfect for her. And that is what it looked like. Also, I think another really amazing thing that I bring to the table is not only am I a professional organizer, but I'm also a certified life coach. And for this project, that came into play specifically in the consult. So, one of the things that this client was struggling with when I showed up for the consult was that she was not sure if she wanted to reclaim this space as hers alone or if she wanted to continue sharing it with her boarders. So she was debating on, as part of this remodel, does she have the contractor build out tack walkers for her boarders and reclaim the space for herself? Or does she continue to share this with her boarders? And so she had a big decision to make. She was really torn about it. And I was able to coach her through it because I have these amazing life coaching tools. Another example of how life coaching can come into play, and I will maybe talk about this a little bit more in a future video, but another client of mine, we went and we did a makeover project, actually 2 for her. She was going to pay me one day and she saw online that I also do life coaching. And she was like, hey, what's that? I think I need that. And so we sat down and talked about it. And I realized I need to mention it to all of my clients because it's so amazing. So what I do as a life coach is help you set and achieve your goals, overcome the challenges that come up along the way, and actually get done what you have always wanted to get done, but you have struggled to do, whatever that is. So I sit down and I do an intake and we talk about 12 general life areas, everything from your finances and your fitness and your relationships and your professional goals, whether you have your own business or you work in corporate, all of the things. We talk about like, where are you at? Where do you want to be? And what are your goals? And that has sort of morphed into working with equestrians. So my favorite clients are equestrian clients, by the way. So I also provide life coaching. And then to circle back, that just helps so much when we're doing the design and the organizing, because there are so many decisions to be made. And this is about more than just organizing your space. This is about how you want to live your life. It's related to your self-image. It's creating systems that support how you think and how you live your life and how you want to be. And to kind of wrap up the conversation, why I love doing this so much is because I love horses and I love helping people. And when I walk away from one of these projects, I know that the person is walking into their barn like, ah, and they're walking in, they have time saved. They are happy. They have less stress. They're able to spend more time with their horses, and their horses feel it. Like we all know that your animals can feel it when you are stressed, and they can feel it when you're not. So this will give you time back and less stress. Just give you more time with your horses and make you happier. And I love to be part of that story. So if you are feeling like you would like to work with me at all, the ways that you can do that are to reach out to me on social media, just to DM me. I'm very responsive. I'll get back to you within the same day. And then we can do a consult in person if you're within 2 hours of Mukilteo, Washington. But if you're not, we will do it just like this. You can send me photos and videos and I'll share my screen and I will talk you through it. Or we can do it live if you prefer to like do a FaceTime video call. We can do that as well. And I will walk through all those same things. Like I'll make a plan for you, send you a quote, and we can work together either virtually or if you would like, I also travel to you. So there are so many options. We can do everything in person if you're local. We can do virtual if you prefer. We can do everything virtual. And that just is going to be like everything except the actual labor, but I can help you make a plan and a design, walk you through it, coach your mind, all of it. And or we can do it virtual and then I can travel to you in person for the work. So there are so many exciting ways to work with me and we can get all of your barn spaces and all of your mind worked out. The way I like to say it is that I help equestrian people organize their mind and their life and their barn. So if you've got any of that going on, reach out today. All right. Also, like and follow, or yeah, I guess this is YouTube. So we're going to like and follow the Organized Barn. Again, I'm Jess with the Organized Barn. Thank you for watching my very first video. There is more to come. So make sure you like, subscribe, follow, all the things. Okay. Cheers. Go enjoy your horses. Bye-bye.